Welcome back, everyone. So I posted a video not too long ago about my project Fla.sh, or my flashcard system written in Bash for the shell. Um, Again, I'm just going to keep giving him a shout out because Nixcast really put me down on this, gave me the idea, let me run with it, had the sample little code snippet that really got me started into this, and then I just dove in headfirst into this because it was a great project. It actually is something I'm going to use myself, and then it was, project-based learning when it comes to programming is the best way, really, and it was something I just got into and started exploring, and I really taught myself a lot about Bash just by working on this project, and now it's got me even more interested in learning like the kind of stuff I can do with Shell and Bash. Because just think about it, when you do coding, programming, everything in writing, notes, everything we do is basically text. All of your GUI programs eventually at the lowest level are text, and even below that it's just zeros and ones, but that's getting like a little meta there. But when we consider that everything is text, and that with the shell and your terminal, standard in, standard out, it's all text, streams of text, lines and files, and just everything is just text. So if you keep everything in plain text and you can use Bash, then you can accomplish so many things, including when you use like editors like Vim, when you have all of the macros, registers, commands, Vim motions, all the plugins that if they're helpful to you. All of this stuff all deals with plain text, and because of the power and flexibility and just sheer firepower of Bash, if you use plain text or you know how to leverage plain text, you can do a lot of really cool stuff. And everything we write is code, everything we write is text, which means that everything we can do in Bash can affect that stuff. I like to honestly, one of the really big inspirations for learning Bash for me, beyond Nixcasts and this project right here, was, of course, Luke. Luke is the reason why I got into a lot of this stuff in the beginning, and why I've been on this system for like probably almost a year now, and really been diving in headfirst to this. I talked on my live streams about how, like, when I watched his channel and all of his videos, I literally like kept every video. I made a Trello board at the time because I hadn't discovered Taskle yet. But I made a Trello board. I had every card for every video that had every program, and I listed out things I wanted to know how to do in the program. I took notes on every program. I made sure I understood every program, ABook, NeoMut, CalCurse, like every program. I wanted to know this system. And now I modify it, I customize it. I'm learning how to do things. I'm still like hella newbie. When it comes to like the actual guts of the Linux system. Like I'm looking up stuff like the XDG system. I have no freaking clue what that is. I tried messing with a little bit of it, and I practically nuked my i3 system, and that was a little scary. But I digress. Everything we do is code and programming, and watching Luke's example of his LB system, the lightweight blog, Luke's blog, whatever he calls the script, and just how he has a single Bash script that basically can manage an entire blog system for a website, including drafts and updating existing items and plopping it down, making the XML entry, everything, an entire system in like 100 lines of shell script. That was just... So when I discovered the power of the shell through that, and seeing that example, and then just finally finding this project to work on, it's just why you cannot not learn Bash. It's just so great. If everything you do, if you use Linux like this, you're basically going to use Bash in some way or shape or form, unless you're just sticking to a newbie distribution and you have no interest in it. But you still kind of have to use it. But if you're writing code, if you're writing a lot of text and you want to have power and control over that text and those files, learning Bash is like the best. I used to think like the syntax was so horrible and hard and difficult and abysmal. I mean, there's always better ways of doing things, more efficiency, less function calls, less program calls, like all that stuff. But just to get done some basic things and just working with it, it's not that horrible, especially because some of these answers on Stack Overflow, I just straight up saved some. Like, I gotta open my Vim wiki here. Why don't I just use my fuzzy find? Bash, and then what was the recent thing I made? It was, the color. So, like, some of these Stack Overflow answers out here are just phenomenal. Like, people just put in the effort and just document everything they're doing so well. Like, some of these answers are just great. Everything they list out. And you just find out what you need to do. And it works out great. The syntax is it's pretty crazy compared to some of the other languages I've learned. And I mean, honestly, I could just write R scripts and execute them as executables in the system if I really wanted to. But there's just something satisfying about writing a bash script, and plus it's so fast. It's faster than an R script would be. It's faster than a Python script would be, likely, edge cases and whatever, generalizations aside. So all of this just purely comes down to, I really enjoyed this project. I'm actively developing it. I have a vision for where I want it to go. It's not done yet, but it's basically Flash.sh++, because last night I pretty much did not sleep last night. I was up until like 6:30 in the morning, which is normally when I get up, and I was just working on this. I hacked on it. I got it really in a good place. I found some ANSI escape codes. I got some color and some nice formatting on it. I'm really happy with where it is right now. I've updated some of the documentation, but really this is going to be like the explanation of, this is where I'm taking it. This is where I've got it now, and yeah, let's take a dive into it. I probably have to sneeze in. Whew, called it. All right, so it's on GitHub. It's been on GitHub. Right now, I'm surprised. Wow, thanks. It's got 3 stars, and somebody's actually watching it. But everything you need is right here, just the Flash script. If you run it, it'll set it up your default directory. I updated it so the script will actually have like some good default questions to cycle through, so you can see like what would it actually look like. I made some, like in this image, the preview image, this is like what the screen would look like if you had like tons of nested folders with tons of nested CSV decks for different tests. Like, you get to pick, and you can pick, like, you could sort it like year, school, subject, test, and even many levels deep. Like, I have it set up so it'll look even as deep as 999 nested directory levels. So you're pretty much set for whatever crazy system you want. It's only going to recursively find CSVs, so it's not even taxing on the system. Dependencies, just FZF and BAT. You can download those. Those are just command line utilities. I explain like how to organize it. It's a colon-separated .csv file, and it has 4 fields: the category, the question, the hidden answer that you try to guess, and then the score. I lay it out pretty clear here. Like, it's a great idea to just set your score to start at 0 for a brand new deck. That way, everything is served to you equally without discrimination off the bat. And the things that you are less familiar with will stay at 0 or will go down in points. And then the items with the lowest point score get filtered or sorted to the top. And then the top 10, using the head command, the top 10 lowest scoring items will be added to a pool. And then Shuff will pull a single card from that pool to serve to you. And then you review your card. You give a score, like how difficult it was. It was hard, it was difficult, normal, easy, mild, whatever. And that will assign, or it'll increment or decrement a point value. And if you enter an invalid key or if you hit normal, the score stays the same and nothing changes, because I don't want to have anything weird happen or affect the system. But basically, these points and incrementing and decrementing the points change which cards are served to you. So basically, over time, the things that you are less familiar with bubble up, and that's what's actually given to you to study. And I think that's awesome. So let me check something. Right. Yeah. So that's how the point system works, is you can just review your cards and the things that you need to study more because your points are going down on them, or everything else is going up higher and they're staying low. All of that is what it happens just based on the nature of the point system. So that's really cool. I posted about it on Reddit. It seemed to be pretty well received in the Bash subreddit. They wanted to hear more about how it's going, and plus I was just too excited to not make this video. So this is part 2, Flash.sh++. So first of all, let's just like see it in action. I have the default template still installed, so Flash, and it tells me pick my deck. The only one I have filled out was the default deck. And well, first let's go back. Flash deck. Okay, so you could easily filter through all of your decks. You could have as many CSV decks as you want in as many nested directories up to 999 levels as you want. You're covered. But it'll also, with FZF and BAT, it'll give you a preview like this, so you can see like some of your questions. So just to make sure you're opening the right deck, you can do that, and you can like read some of your questions and answers here if you wanted to. But I'm just going to open it, and the interface looks a little bit different because I discovered ANSI escape codes. I'm probably going to make a whole nother video about just that, and maybe start off another video series on another language. I got my R Markdown one going. I got my R package reviews. I got LaTeX and LaTeX package reviews, and now I guess I might just start another one on Bash. I got so many things I could just review and make videos on. I just love learning about this stuff, and plus part of the perk of making a YouTube channel is that I actually learned it better because I'm teaching it. Sure, I might make mistakes and not know it all in and out like the back of my hand. Hey, that's new. But having the opportunity to teach it helps you learn. So even if somebody makes mistakes on YouTube and they're not completely correct about it, it's still just really useful for them to teach it and like act like they're teaching it for them to learn it better. And plus, when you guys give corrections or better ideas, it helps me out. Some of my live streams, some of you guys have given me ideas for stuff to put in my VimRC, really helped me out. Saved me like 4 plugins. I think it was like the default Vim search tree. It was like, what was it? This thing, NetRW, I think it is. Yeah, this saves me from needing Nerd Tree. So that's 4 plugins I got to get rid of, and that was somebody on the live stream. I think it was somebody named Derek. But yeah, thanks, dude. So yeah, I mean, you don't have to know everything, and just teaching like this really is helpful to learn. So anyways, the interface looks different. I added some ANSI escape codes. We got some colors. We got some formatting. I really like how it looks now. It makes me really happy. It looks a little bit more, polished and shiny. It's not it's still plain text, but it's prettier in your terminal. Now, the ANSI escape codes and some of the things I used are not not supported in every single terminal, but I think just about everything is supported in just about every terminal except XVT, not URXVT, XVT or whatever something. It's on this like Stack Overflow post, but I didn't really add too much to it would break anything. But we have our category, history, question, what did Abraham Lincoln typically keep in his hat? I'm gonna guess, I don't know, a pen. Oh no, I was wrong. Okay, that sucks. That was not the answer, but it gives you the answer, and then it asks you how difficult was the question. I had to think about it, so we also have some options here. Now, hard and easy, so the point values are 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. So hard will remove 2 points, difficult will remove 1, normal does nothing, mild adds 1, easy adds 2. The higher your points, the more familiar you are with it, and the less frequently the card will occur, depending on deck size. So in this case, I'm going to give it a difficult score. But first, let's actually, I'm going to show you this update live. There we go. Let's see if I can even get this to display. No, it won't do it. So anyways, I'll just open up the deck this way. All right, so Abraham Lincoln, here we go. So you can see right now the score of this question is 0. So it starts off at 0. So let's actually give it, I'm gonna say difficult, give it a 2. Okay, it's already moved on to the next question. You're done, that's it, that's it. And one reason why I made it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for these things is that way you can have your left hand sit on the top number row, and you can have it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that way you can easily leave your hand rested there to answer your point questions, and then you can have your other hand on enter, so that way you can just have your hand completely on the keyboard while you're studying these flashcards. So let's go to the deck again, and it still says 0. That's oh yes, because it was already 0, so it's not going to decrement it anymore. So I don't do negative numbers; it stays at 0 or it goes up. So actually, let's need We need to find one that actually is not 0 and then watch the change. Here we go. So this one starts off at 1. All right. Let's add, 2 points because it was easy. So I'm going to add 5. Bam. All right. So let's back out, go in, and you can see that now it has a 3 instead of a 1. We've added 2 points because it was easy. And this is all done with a very interesting sed expression using array indexes in Bash. So the point system updates, and it is all relative. Like you pick a deck, that deck is assigned to a variable. That variable uses, it's just all variables. Once you pick something, it's variables, and it's all dynamic. So you can pick any deck. This will work on any deck that you call at any time in any of those directories. It's flexible. Now, I'm sure there's some better ways of doing some of the things I have, but I'm pretty damn proud of this system so far. It makes me really happy. Those are the escape codes. All right, so let's actually look at the script and how I changed it. I basically I rewrote a lot of it. Let's see, VFF Flash. Yeah, so I still have my comments. I got some ANSI escape codes. This is basically how you do your font formatting. And instead of putting the escape codes right next to the text, I added them to the variables as the Stack Overflow question suggested. And this makes it really easy to tag your stuff and make it legible. You can add a white background, add some font formatting like a bold text. Apparently I found out that when you write your ANSI escape codes, you start off saying, hey, from here onwards, make it this color. And then at the end, you want to terminate the color with this code. And I just like to say NC means like no color. I have some variables going on, some default like text. I forget what these were, what somebody called these, like blocks of text. I don't know. Head strings or something, head files. My cats are fighting behind me. What did they call this? I need to know now. Oh, here strings. Yeah, or the here documents. It's not really, I don't think it's actually a here strings. I think that's where you have like the cat, 3 angle brackets, EOF, and then you have your text, and then EOF at the end terminates it. But, sort of. It's a block of text. I got line breaks in here just by hitting enter, and it displays this way. So I got some dynamic chunks of text that I can call as needed instead of having them listed out in the functions. And then all of these like little, it's because it's in double quotes. I actually have the substitutions, and it's got curly braces, so I'm not sure if it's a command substitution or if it's just some other weird way. See, I need to research things. Here's a command substitution, the print working directory, because it's in parens. But anyways, I have all these default things. It still tests if it's in your directory. I've consolidated some of the options for some of the case statements because regex is supported, so I can easily capture all of these things. It just uses all variables, so it's easier to read and debug. I can easily pick out different color formatting. Goes to the directory, make sure you have a deck, otherwise display the no deck text. Pick your deck using FCF in the preview, and then it'll start displaying your values. It'll take, so it'll sort your deck based off of the fourth field, which is the points, and it'll sort 0 to whatever, so it sorts ascending. It'll pipe that into head. You can hear them playing, I hope. You can pipe all that output into head. It'll pick 10. It pipes that into shuff. Shuff will pick 1. That goes into the Q variable, and because it's delimited with the colons, we have 4 values in each Q variable. So it's basically an array of 4 items. We have the internal field separator of colon, yes. So this is all the formatting. You can see all of the the color declarations, and then each of these brace syntaxes with square brackets is calling an element of the Q array. Q only holds 1 flashcard at a time, so it's basically just all the items of the flashcard distributed through the interface. And then we have all this stuff right here. This is like the answer screen with all the colors. And so each one has a different color. It'll read the difficulty score you enter, and then it'll, depending on if the existing point score is 0, if it's 0, then it will do nothing except increment upwards because it's not going to go negative. And then if the score is 1, then it'll only increment, it'll increment upwards, do nothing, or decrement by 1 if that's the option, and then everything else happens as normal, which is increment and decrement. And then finally, because it will actually hold this in a variable, sed replaces the initial. It uses all of the array indices for the initial Q variable, and then replaces that with exactly the first 3 indices and then the new item score. Because it pulled out the old item score, and now I'm replacing it with a new item score, all with variables, and dec variable, because it's all relative, so it's depending on what you pick. And all of this is, even with all the comments and all the headers and stuff, it's 171 lines. I could probably consolidate some stuff, make it nicer, whatever. But you know what? It's still wicked fast. And I really, really enjoy how fast this thing is. And I will be using this myself. Like, this is a tool that I made, because I wanted to learn Bash. I wanted to contribute to open source. But I'm going back to school this fall. I will straight up use this myself. It's that useful to me. So if you want to, I got some stuff on here if you wanted to support the channel, support the repo, whatever. I haven't put my Patreon in here, but it's in the support or sponsor. But you can do those things if you want to, no pressure. But the repo is up. You can grab this now. I got it stable, so it's doing everything it should at this point. I'll probably make a branch and do development on that branch instead of on straight to master like I was doing last night at 4, 5, 6 in the morning. It's got some issues open, just some things that are going to be happening overall that, add some new elements and whatnot. If you guys have any ideas, file an issue for an enhancement or feature request. I got some issue templates up here. I got contributing on here. I got this set up. So if you guys want to contribute and help out, you guys can if you want to. But I'm really proud of how this is going. So if you use it, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. Post about it in the comments. Send me an email. Post on any of my social media. It doesn't matter. Just any way you want to reach out to me. Let me know how it goes for you. If you have feature requests, let me know. File it on GitHub. I'd love to hear about how you guys use it. So with that, I think this video has gone on long enough. Catch you next time.